regular council meeting on May 8th will now come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Michelle, you can make the roll call.
Shaw?
Here.
Clark?
Here.
Conan?
Here.
Adair?
Here. I'm finally here after 48 years.
Adair.
Ballard?
Yeah.
Sledge?
Here.
Belkey?
Here.
Change the light to Adair.
You've had a chance to review the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I'll move the agenda be accepted as presented.
Support.
Motion by Ballard, supported by Shaw. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any citizens' comments?
Hi.
Please stand, state your name.
I'm getting better. I'm Amy Barczyk, and my question today is about the Torrey Street and Franklin Street streetlight. And I just wondered if that has been approved for installation.
It's actually on tonight's agenda.
Does that mean I gotta stay for the whole meeting?
Yeah, normally we don't have citizens' comments on things that are on the agenda, but it is on the agenda under new business.
I've been wanting a
Grab
light
a copy.
forever over there for 25 years, but I never asked for one.
So you
So
just
luckily-
have to stay a while to see what the discussion
Yeah.
is.
See what happens.
And then another quick question, did you get the proposals for Torrey Street, like the prices yet?
I got, actually I got data today from F&B Engineering, who's doing our capital update plan. Got a lot of the hard data now, I just gotta go with it. So I'm expecting the final report to be in by the next meeting, which is, what, 2 weeks,
22nd, I think.
22.
Just so we do things properly. Doing citizens' comments, that is the citizens' time to bring up whatever issues they want to the council. But it is not a time for the council to be talking, about different subjects. This is just our time to listen. When that becomes part of the agenda, then it becomes part of the discussion. And by putting things on the agenda, and because we post the agenda, theoretically, all the citizens of the community know what's gonna be on this meeting and have an opportunity to come and hear or add to that discussion. But that's why
And
that
where do you
is.
post the agenda, so I
On the
can?
website, on the window.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
So I can go on there, how soon before the meeting do
The
you
Friday
post
before.
that? Okay,
So,
alright, good to know.
so,
Yep.
just,
Yeah, well, and, yeah, no, that's good to know, because I didn't, I knew that you were getting the prices, and so I thought maybe they'd be ready
yeah,
today.
these would be things that if the council people had, that they'd put that on the
Okay.
agenda and it would be discussed.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you. Are there any other citizens' comment? Okay, moving on, we have no presentations. Administrative reports. Who wants to go first?
Mine will be short and brief on the planning commission. We did,
Short and brief, but these. Yes, go right ahead,
well,
Mike.
we went to the meeting, it was a master plan for the township, and they invited us to go along. So we went, and it was not a meeting for us, it was just, we were observing, I guess you could say. And that's what we basically did. We didn't promise them anything, or, I thought they had some really good ideas with their master plan. They're gonna send out a questionnaire to the community and getting answers from the people in the community. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I think we're gonna bring up the planning commission and possibly do something like that for our master plan. They did talk about parks merging possibly. Of course, we'd have to vote on that in council, but as far as I'm concerned, as far as the park commission goes, if we can get any kind of money for the parks by merging, then I would be all for it. But I don't know, we'll have to investigate that more and see. That's about it.
If I could just add real quick, they did present some prior minutes, and there's a piece in here which I think is important for everybody to hear. This is coming from the township attorney, and they're talking about their planning and annexation. And she says annexation into either the village of Armada or the village of Romeo has no current impact on the tax revenues of Armada Township. Properties annexed into a village remain Armada Township properties for tax purposes. The danger is if a village becomes a city, Armada, in quotes, or in parentheses, township, will then lose the property. So that is their fear, is we would become a city. And I think Joe indicated that we have spent no time really meaningfully looking at that question for a bunch of years.
Longer than I've been here.
Yeah. So I said, fear not, we have no real interest at this point.
Well, we don't wanna make any commitments to them to say
No?
something, but, that's really, that is how it works. If there was a subdivision going out here and that got annexed in so they could use village services, that would not affect their revenue at all. Just like all you guys know, you pay a township tax. We don't always get much for that, but we do pay that township tax.
I just wanted to add, there was a planning commission report that was submitted for their board for Wednesday, but it's already online, so it's already been published. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but it talked about the meeting and what was discussed. But I did have two areas that I'm concerned with, and I brought it to the attention of Chris Martin at the township. Because they did say there was a lot of general discussion among commission members and village representatives. Again, we were not there as village representatives. And I asked, and the second thing was, both the Township Planning Commission and village representatives are appreciative of the joint meeting and look forward to continue to work together. This was not a joint meeting. They knew that ahead of time. I'm disturbed that it would go into a report that has now been published on their website, as part of their meeting. When I asked Chris, I did not know that Sarah Murray was the one that typed this up. And when I talked to Chris, she told me that she would ask Sarah to change it. It does not sound like it is going to get changed. But I want it very clear for the record, this was not a village meeting in any way, shape, fashion, or form. It was not posted as such, it was not entered into as such, and I believe that you all made that very clear at the meeting.
Prior to the meeting opening and starting.
And I'm disturbed that it ended up in this, so.
I would just say that I think it's just terminology. Now, I spent an hour of my time today that I'll never get back over at the township talking to those guys. We do have, this is a Sarah note, she intends to tell the board that it was an unofficial meeting, or that we attended in an unofficial capacity, and their planning commission meeting minutes, which are in draft, which they've asked me to take a peek at, I said, please put in there that all responses from village attendees are personal opinion, not to be construed as the official opinion of the village council. So I think it's just terminology. I understand why Michelle's concerned about it.
We only really had two people that were requested to attend that meeting. I had talked ahead of time because I knew, they told me that they wanted our planning commission to participate. I asked Christie, the president of our, or the chair of our planning commission, to be there, and I asked Mike Shaw to be there. Both, because he's our liaison with the planning commission, but no way were we gonna have a quorum of people there.
Which we didn't. There
This
was
was
not a
not a
quorum there.
meeting,
Yeah.
this was not a meeting for our guys, it was, our people that we sent there were attending, in,
Unofficial, yes.
well, we just were attending because of their request that we have somebody there. Certainly, if there's something we can give them towards their master plan, we're really happy to assist them.
And I would say if it's just terminology, it shouldn't be that big of a deal to change it.
But anyhow, I know because there's been some sensitivities about announcing the meetings and things in the township, and we don't want to get in the middle of any of that. So anyhow, What other reports do we have? Please remember to keep them brief, commissioners. Chris, you got something?
He's got the whole agenda.
I have the whole agenda, but there is an item here, if you need to go ahead, because one of them is reminded when we're asking for it. Yeah.
I'll step in for a minute.
Okay, go ahead,
I
Steve.
know we're gonna be having our storm sewers cleaned here soon, and I've talked to Dave Wagner, our DPW head. He would like to see about checking out the sanitary sewer that runs through the park. He wants to get it jetted and televised because we've run into some situations, we have no idea where it goes, and we think we've got a manhole buried somewhere in the park. So he got some quick pricing, anywhere from $350 to $850, which is in, I can easily handle it. I just wanted to bring it up that it's
We
possible.
do have at least one manhole in the park, though, it
Yeah,
seems to
but
me as I
they're-
recall.
They're thinking there's some other stuff further down, it might even be somebody's backyard, but
Oh.
when they televise it, they'll be able to tell what direction, how many feet it goes, so. I just wanna mention that, it'll probably be coming up when they come in to do other work on the storm sewer, so we can kinda piggyback it. Even though it's not exactly the same situation where they're vectoring the catch basins, but this line will need to get jetted, so it's nice and clean, and then they'll run the TV camera up there, so. That's all I've got on that.
So Jeff, did you find the stuff I put in the box for
I
the
did,
the
yep.
license
Yep.
and the easement?
Yes, I just got it.
Okay. Do you need anything else from me? So one of them is for the Lathrop Street extension, and then the other one's for the Holloway, sharing with Orchard and them on our, services on the property that they take care of that we use.
Yeah, maybe just a few minutes of your time
Okay.
after the meeting.
Good.
Thank you.
That's it, because you said I got the other time.
You've got the whole agenda.
That's all,
Okay,
that's all the time.
Ross, I'm sure you have something.
I do, I'll try to keep it short.
See
if
what
you look at
page
your-
it's written on. Front and back.
He talks fast.
Timing.
There you go.
If you look at your schedule of bills, you'll see that there's a significant payment for the filtration media for the water treatment plant. That is the last payment. So with that payment, before the next meeting, we are paid off. So that's about $750,000 in some fancy footwork that we got that done, and it's obviously benefiting the village because our arsenic levels are pretty low. We had UAS SCADA out. They performed their radio telemetry checks and associated maintenance with the village waterworks. The system's in great shape, they said. It's got new batteries in it, operating as designed, and so we're about as ready for the next tornado as we can be. Power could be out, but that system will operate, so that's the magic thing. May 8th through 12th, I feel obligated to say this is National Drinking Water Week. Just promotes awareness of where drinking water comes from. If you look at our consumer confidence report, it indicates we do pull from aquifers. We're high in arsenic. Water treatment plants specifically designed to reduce the amount of arsenic in our water. We don't specifically take out iron, but the process of the media does remove some iron from the system. We also treat our water with a little bit of chlorine that keeps the bacteria out. It's very safe levels. We got great water, I tell you. We got great water, should be very proud of what we've got, and that is by objective measure. So anybody, you may not like how it tastes. But it's a lot of
I drink it every day. I love it.
I do too. I
I've
drink it
never
every
been a
day.
water drinker.
It's good water. Amy, this one's for you. I did indicate that I've got some of the information now from F&V. I'm going through it. We're trying to get a chart together that has the dollar figures for the priority and secondary infrastructure upgrades that we would potentially make. Torrey Street, Olatory is in the priority category. So it's, again, the report's done, it's gonna be then up to council to decide if they wanna do something with it and how to fund it. That's gonna be the next question. But we'll have a pretty clear idea of what we want to focus our attention on and how much it.
Well, Ross, let me ask you, stop you right there.
Yeah.
We've discussed this a lot of times about if we put a new road in and needed work underground, not to do it. Okay,
Well, to do it in concert.
Okay.
It's comprehensive.
well, but the thing of it is, and you know, there is no money in the water budget. You're borrowing money from the general fund to make it this year. I don't know how we can do any underground water work.
The funding part, there's no way, no how, that we would ever do anything with the dollars that we have. It would, in my mind, clearly have to be a bond, but one of the things that F&B is doing is, again, we said, we want a no kidding, what are the one or two ways that we could fund this? We don't want pie in the sky stuff. So, don't talk to us about grants and all that kind of stuff, because we're not gonna get it, because our median income is too high. So, again, what, the summary I wrote read at the last meeting indicated you could self-fund, which is what you're talking about, and we would run dry doing one project, right? So self-funding is really not a way to go. We can do a state revolving fund. Everybody and their mother is applying for that. I don't think we have much of a chance. Again, our median income is too high. We can go for a bond, which is what we've done with water treatment plant, what we've done with wastewater treatment plant. Again, it's clearly a council decision, and there's all kinds of things. How long, how much, what's the interest rate, all that kind of stuff. That's really the only way you're gonna do this comprehensive infrastructure stuff. But I've seen people come from at least the last 4 years saying, when are you gonna do something? And we say, we got no money. So we didn't have a plan. Now we're gonna at least have a plan, subject to engineering, that says, this is really bad stuff, and if we're gonna do anything, focus on these. That's what we've worked on over the last 6 months, and last year,
Yeah.
really. So, but again, it doesn't fund anything. It's gonna be up to council to decide how they want to
But
move.
what I'm not sure of here is if, and I'm not sure about a bond, I know we've done some of this before, but it was usually on things that we had to do, like the sewer, or the water, like we did on the
Yeah.
water and sewer.
Yeah.
But if we did, part of that would have to be paid out of water, the part that's the water bond, and that just means you gotta raise everybody's water bill.
Not necessarily, because again, we've simply said FY 24-25 is the
Yeah, we're
best
not doing it this year.
first opportunity. We're not doing anything this year. I really don't have any money this year. Next year, I'm gonna be, I don't wanna say rolling over in money, but this year, we just said, we're gonna pay off the media significant bill, and we're paying the last payment this year on the water treatment plant. Then that bond is retired. So now, we could reduce rates next year, we could do other things. So it's gotta be a council decision. But what this is simply doing, Mr. President, this is just kind of teeing us up. We will know what is really bad, and if we're gonna do anything, what we're gonna focus on.
Well, yeah, I know we got the report coming, we've been waiting for that for a while.
Right, but it doesn't, and it says, here's the best funding mechanisms that you have.
But I just want
It
people
doesn't-
aware, people that are watching this,
Yeah, yeah.
that you start throwing that word bond out, that puts you into a long time
Yes, it
debt
does.
situation.
Yes, it does.
And you wanna make sure that that's something you really wanna do, because if things fall apart like they did a few years back, and all of a sudden you're not getting your, you know, the tax
Revenue.
money
Yeah.
you thought when all the values went down on the homes,
Yeah,
then you still gotta pay for that bond.
yeah, no, I completely understand, but that's,
Water.
that is realistically the only way you're ever gonna make meaningful street, water, sewer, upgrades in the village. Otherwise, in 20 years, we're gonna tell people,
Well,
suck
you
it up.
know, I think
The
some
roads are
you
terrible.
could, I think there's some areas you can pave without doing all the underground work.
There are, and-
You know, and that may be a better way to go in the short
Well,
term.
and he's doing
That's
it.
exactly what we are, you know, and then.
I know, we
And that's
talked
still where
about
we then
that.
still keep trying for the grant and everything, even though, okay, I don't know,
Right.
but it can't, but you're right, we've identified, out of that same list, those that only, let's forgive, is just street. Okay, and there's 3 of them on the list. So those are the ones we keep applying for, and we're doing Lathrop, which is coming up here on the agenda. There's a couple others too.
And you know, I tend to be a little conservative, but, one thing is paying your bills, and one thing is borrowing money to pay your bills, and that could put the community in a bad situation. But anyhow, go ahead.
Yeah, no,
I interrupted
it's
you.
clearly something council's gotta consider, but
Yeah.
that's,
But you've thrown this out before, and I just wanted to show another point of view on that.
no,
So that's something.
and I
And he's
respect.
gonna have to review this with bond council anyway,
Right.
because
Yeah.
Steve's not done with sewer.
Yeah, it's,
So we could
it's,
any day have DEQ tell us, okay, because you do this portion of it now, and here it
Yeah.
is this much later, and
Yeah.
we're gonna, you know, we didn't have any choice when we were negotiating the sewer bond, the SRF that we have on it.
Joe's right, but this capital improvement plan update was not intended to go beyond what's really bad and what's it gonna cost. Because that's the next step,
No,
if the council
the-
chooses to.
Prioritizing.
The study is just to tell you what you need to do, where you need.
Because we didn't really have a good idea
Right.
before. We had back of the napkins and scribbled on a piece of paper, there was nothing.
I never
Yeah,
seen
really-
anything on the back of any napkins. I'm
There's a
sorry.
paper.
Trust me, yeah, trust me.
I have the paper.
We've done a much more investigative review now.
Well,
and
don't
we've-
be buying Ross any more napkins.
No,
Other than my napkins. Okay, this one concerns me a little bit, but not too much. We were not successful in submitting our COVID state and local fiscal recovery fund report. That's the SLFRF report. Everything is done, everything on the website shows green, there's no reason why it should not submit. We couldn't get it to submit. So it's a technical issue. We had submitted before the cutoff that we had a technical problem and wanted to talk to somebody. We still haven't talked to somebody, but every other day I send them a note and say, when is somebody gonna talk to us? We did get a note, as I would have expected, that said, hey, your report is due, but it does say, if you have contacted Treasury, this is the US Department of Treasury, with a technical issue regarding your report submission, you did not receive a response, please know that Treasury will respond to your issue and the portal remains open for your submission. So I'm not overly concerned that it's not in because we've notified them, but it's a glitch in the, I don't think there's anything we did because it's all glowing green, which should mean submit and it goes, but it won't go for some reason. Becky's looked at it, Curtis has looked at it, I've looked at it. I spent three of my days, again, that I won't ever get back, trying to debug that thing, I can't do it. So we're waiting for them, the report's ready to go. It's only talking about the ARPA money that we got for the filtration media. We got $182,000 and change, and we spent $182,000 and change all in 1 year. It's a good news story, we did exactly what they asked them for, asked us to do with the money, and we did it. So, I'll give you an update, I'm hoping to have that thing knocked out by the next meeting. Why it won't take, I don't know. I'm meeting with HydroCorp tomorrow, on starting up the residential cross-connection inspections, that council's approved. These are all outdoor inspections, there's no entry to residences. And there's a little bit of preparation work that's gotta happen. Michelle and I are also meeting with SEMCOG tomorrow. They're gonna provide us with some delegate training. Remember, I'm the delegate, she's the alternate delegate. I am working with those guys on a Armada 2050 presentation targeted for July. More to the council on that, but they're pulling the demographic data together for us. ZBA's got a regular semi-annual meeting on Wednesday, the 9th of May at 7. There's no appeals, this is just making sure everybody recognizes each other.
what's the date?
This is Wednesday, this Wednesday, 9 May, 7 o'clock, it's posted.
That's good, because that gets all your prior minutes approved.
It gets the minutes approved,
Before they're 5 years
and,
old.
Yeah.
remember, we went from 2018
Yes,
till
5 years.
just very recently with nothing, and so if you don't ever pull people together, I guarantee you, they won't show when you think they're gonna show. Now you have no ZBA, so
Okay.
this is something we instituted to make sure that people remember what they're supposed to do, and it's just cheap protection there. And finally, we talked about the township meeting. I thought it was a great meeting, we're well beyond the point where we should be talking to each other and sharing ideas and not living in fear. We need to do it. It's in their interest that the village is healthy. And so they absolutely should talk to us about that. Because if we hurt, they're gonna hurt too. And they all seem to be agreeing with that, so that's all I got.
Mr. President, could I just clarify one thing, Russ? So
Yes,
this report,
please.
When you mentioned that we make the last bond payment and that next year.
No, it's coming up.
What, coming up, and next year, I think you started to use the phrase, you'd be rolling in money. You haven't seen-
I'm kind of being facetious.
You haven't seen the outline of your payment plan yet to repay the general fund, so just wondering, maybe we still
Yeah,
need to do that.
I will have a lot less debt to pay off, that's the point.
Okay.
Everything this year, as briefed in the budget hearings, really going to pay off all this stuff.
Right.
It's good to get it all paid off, right? We're not doing a lot else in water this year.
Okay, we're done with your portion.
Yeah.
Now, has anybody else got, we go out all
I
day.
think we went out.
But has somebody else got
Hey,
any?
hey, hey,
Because I
that's your fault.
Because I have the other half of the meeting.
I know part of it was my fault.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
I have the,
Yeah.
in fact,
Police action.
for April,
No, you don't have that anymore. I have that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we haven't
No.
appointed you yet.
Not yet.
You did not.
This is still Lyle, still the police commissioner. And,
Next time.
One more.
yeah,
this is it for me.
that's why the.
Make it a good one.
Got the
I
agenda
didn't
today.
put it in.
We had 26 traffic tickets, driving while suspended license, we had 2 allowed unlicensed person to drive, 1, allowed an intoxicated person to drive, 1, assist the Armada Township Fire Department in the village 5 times, assist other agencies was none, suspicious situation was 8, disturbances was 3, alarm open door was 4, lockout was 1, miscellaneous calls for service 5, lost and found property 1, there was 1 theft, 1 retail fraud and 1 fraud. Motor vehicle accidents was 1, and as of March 31, 2023, miles on patrol car 431 was 85,584. 432 is the F-150 was 23,022. And 433, the unmarked Dodge, was 63,170. On Saturday, April 29th, the Armada officers, along with 6 Richmond officers, received information on Armada School's security protocols, along with a tour of all 4 Armada School buildings. This was hosted by Armada School's Security Director, Tim Welkers. And the chief is researching information on the new 800 kilohertz radios, including portables, and they'll be coming to our honorable body soon to buy at least 1 new mobile radio for the new Explorer that Armada has ordered. That's it.
Okay, I talked to Chief Blake further on that, if I can have any more information.
Go ahead.
Even just as a couple person, not really enough. He did get, ours are Motorola's. Ours are severely outdated. Nobody's even willing to work on it because they can't get parts. So he does have the new Explorer coming. He wants to coordinate getting 1 radio unit at a Kenworth. He's talked to several other departments that use it. They're all happy, including the police, or fire chief, Chris Fletcher. They said they're very, very reliable. They're like half the price. The Kenworths are gonna run us about 82,000 to replace all of our radios. And the Kenworth is about 38,000. So it's a considerable savings, but he wants to, and he knows he can't put it in this year's budget. But he does, I don't know if he talked to you at budget time about getting the 1, but Lyle just spoke up.
I was gonna say, is that part of the expense of outfitting the car?
Yes.
Because he did add money for that.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's going to handicap the car if we don't. We're going to either wait for the vehicle to get here and then order the radio and wait another 2 months to get the radio and you've got a car that you can't communicate through, or vice versa. And we order them now and have the radio sitting here. As soon as his car is here, he can get it installed. So he is going to bring more information to that.
Joe, will that new one interact with what we have?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Even the old Motorola's that we have, still you can get on the frequencies and you can
Well,
use it,
we
but
can still-
ours are all breaking down and you can't get parts to repair them.
Some of these radios should be able to be paid for from our salvage title
And we're
funds.
looking into that to see if they can be, because obviously you can't.
Again, for the time being, Lyle's the acting police, commissioner as well as pro tem, just at least for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's fine. That's-
We're-
Till the next
we're-
meeting,
But
Like I always
He's been
try to get
working it out.
everybody to work through the
Yeah.
commissioner, and I gotta have you work through the
no,
commissioner
that's not a problem.
for a couple of weeks.
No problem, Joe.
And then, and after a couple of weeks, we may make a change there.
So, but he did want you guys to know this information
No, that's good.
sooner than later, so, and I know he hasn't talked to Lyle, because he talked to me.
Sure.
You could have added it.
So, moving on. We're good with administrative reports?
We'll pull them out.
Okay.
For-
Consent,
for-
okay. Consent agenda?
We need to pull the minutes for correction.
Okay.
It stated that I was present and I wasn't.
You trying to be president, I'm trying to be police commissioner? What's going on here?
No, she just wasn't here at this meeting. We can pull the, and add them to the agenda like we usually do.
Okay.
So,
Put the minutes on as item F,
Yeah.
under new business.
yeah,
And, so then, can I have approval for the consent agenda?
Mr. President,
Yeah, change.
I'll move that the consent agenda be accepted as amended.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business. And I think, Chris, you're gonna be front and center here a lot.
That's right.
today.
So finally got all this stuff going, but a couple years ago, we had our bridge inspection. We had two major problems that we fixed. The first was getting the concrete replaced on the west main bridge, and then the last is all four are in need of crack sealing. One of the challenges, there aren't very many places that can do it. It is not the same equipment that you would use on a road. Bridge construction is different, so that there's very limited resources. So it took us quite some time to get in touch with some folks to do it. And indeed, we do have one, at least, of the contractors that actually quoted, others no quoted. But we were able to get a quote from Total Asphalt for doing the crack sealing of the 4 bridges. So
You wanna make a motion?
I will make a motion to accept the bid from Total Asphalt Paving Incorporated in the amount of $5,000 and to permit the clerk or street administrator to sign on behalf of the village.
Support.
Support by Sledge.
no, made by Slim. Support by Bailey.
Correct.
I got it.
I motion loud
Okay,
support.
make a roll call, please.
Sleds,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Dare,
Yes,
Clark,
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Okay. Building parking lot repaving bid.
Alright.
This comes under you again, Chris.
It does. So the lot here, and as you can tell too by the hole in the front here, there's been time to, we gotta do the storm and the lot, so we got a quote in. And this one we did put, actually is, all these are in the budget. So we had forecasted this one coming. And we did get a good bid from Total Asphalt again.
So I would like to make a motion to accept the bid from Total Asphalt Pave Incorporated in the amount of $29,945 with a $6,000 down payment, and to permit the clerk or DPW supervisor to sign on behalf of the village.
Support.
Hey, Chris, I do have a question, if I could. So, is the catch basin failing underneath? So, I just was curious, does this bid cover that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll dig out, regrade it, repack it, you know, with whatever.
So it won't have all that water.
Correct, yep, exactly, and then they'll set a new ring around it, and then
Okay.
it'll be good shape.
Yeah, you might wanna have Dave take a look at that though, just to, because now's the time, if you gotta rebuild any of those blocks,
Correct,
because it'll move, if
Mm-hmm.
if below that ring, if it's failing,
right.
you're gonna lose $30,000.
Oh, no, and that was what I was expecting, based on the other 2 or 3 that we've done here recently.
Yeah.
That was the assumption on all these things comes in is that we're the substructure is total failure.
Okay, good.
And this is in the budget, right?
Yes.
Okay, another roll call,
Yep.
please?
Sleds,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yep.
Adair,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Belkey.
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
Those of us that come in here every day, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I feel bad though. She's gotta drive home every day on her bumpy road.
Yeah,
And
she
I
does.
live way at the end.
Yeah, she does.
So you're going all the way down the road.
Yeah, it is bad.
Okay, next we've got streetlight installation
So-
at Franklin and Torrey.
One of maybe 2 or 3 at best that intersections that have, especially in the old, with the old style light, did not have a street light. So, and then those, the last year, so, you know, David captured it in his DPW supervisor minutes, requests, and so we did get a quote, and we're able to finally get DTE out to get a quote for adding that street light. So they sent us, as you can see, the purchase agreement. And the only concern I had with it originally was, you know, well, 2 parts was match, you know, how do you find a light that fits something that's, you know, 50-something years old? And then 2, it would be LED, so it's a different value, you know, a different power, so, they did have that all addressed, so that's, we're in good shape there.
Chris, on that motion, can we just,
Yep,
after the DTE part,
yep,
can we say for installation of a light pole and LED fixture at Torrey and Franklin? My only concern is, we don't put in that motion, 5 years from now, we're gonna be looking for, there's nothing that identifies. where
Yeah, what
it's
you
going.
did.
So for installation of a light pole
And LED fixture at the intersection of Torrey
and
and Franklin, in the amount of.
picture at,
Another 5 years.
You'll never know where it's at.
and a good point.
Chris, could I ask a question? Was this included in this year's budget?
It was, no, this one was not.
Okay.
This one was not. At least, no, I don't remember this one being in
couldn't
there. I
find
know
it in
it
my
was,
notes.
meaning there's something we were talking about, but I don't think we did have a quote to put it in for it anyway, so.
Because I was surprised, because I didn't remember us talking
No,
about
but
it.
I do know, that when we said what, you know, the typical, was more than double that. So when we were talking about placekeepers, my placekeeper would have been about $10,000, so.
Okay. And
Well,
did
why
you-
did Dave recommend this?
Why did he?
Yeah.
Because of talking to residents and that, and then I've seen it too, I make about 4 loops around the block there every night. And it's awful dark over there, so.
Again, like if it's a safety concern,
That's
we
what
also
he
like to bring the chief of police. The chief of police is your chief safety officer as well. So,
So no complaining when it's
Just
super
so-
bright in your living room.
just so he's in that loop and in agreement, which I'm pretty sure he would be.
Yeah, I'd like to shoot
Okay, did,
So I'd like to make a motion to accept the quote from DTE for installation of a light pole and LED fixture at the intersection of Torrey Street and Franklin in the amount of $4,869.05 and to permit the clerk or DPW supervisor to sign on behalf of the village.
support?
Oh, who got that?
Oh,
Shaw.
I got it quickly.
You did.
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Delphi,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Adair.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Okay, now the salt dome bid. We got bids,
All right, well, we started that discussion in the last meeting, and I had, it wasn't actually intentional, truly, there was, I wasn't asking for a motion necessarily, but it's okay. But I wanted to have, Dave go out and actually get a couple quotes, to see what would be considered for a salt dome. Plus, at this point too, even a bigger picture is, where are we gonna put it, how are we gonna prep that, that site, the land for it, and then develop it, so.
and this, what, you're saying that it would cost $35,000-$40,000?
Excluding the prep work, yes.
And this is something that is not in the budget.
This is not in the budget, and like I said, I wasn't necessarily intending it to be.
You're just telling everybody?
I wanted to bring it, so it's, yeah, I mean, because it is, let's put it this way, you saw some of the photos that Dave put in the last one, the salt, and obviously it's corrosive, is destroying the building. We have a nice hole in the
Well,
wall.
might be something we wanna look at next year too.
That
but-
was, and like I said, I think there needs to be a little more thought into our site preparation, which it says excluding, but that is gonna be fundamental to the whole thing
Is that like the big block foundation and then the hoops is on top of that?
Well, yes, but it's not necessarily a big block foundation, though, but it has a foundation. Versus that you'd see like at the landscaping company, that they do that with a big block, but it's not that.
So you're just wanting him to go out and just get ideas of what it's gonna cost? You're not
Cost-
asking for it to be built today?
Correct,
This-
exactly, right.
Right now, this is just
Because it's
something
not.
we're
budgeted for.
investigating.
It's fact finding, and I wanna set the stage, my intention was to set the stage for next budget.
Mr. President?
I found some more information for Dave. I went online, found some sites. There was one or two of them that, at the end of the video, you type in your information, give them a size, your email and stuff, and they'll send you somewhat of a quote, so you'll get some more ideas. And I'm gonna work on a drawing of the area, to lay some stuff out, just to see what kind of space is taken up, and how Dave suggested that the truck would come in and be able to maneuver around and
Right.
dump the load. Because right now, it's archaic the way they have to do it. They dump it on the ground outside of the building, shovel it back into the building, and now the back wall is kind of blowing out and rusting out, so. And it doesn't do any good to have that equipment sitting there all winter with all that salt, so.
And we keep,
salt in the air.
we tend to try to keep 50 tons, and again, depending how bad the winter is, but we'll try to keep 50 ton, the last 50 ton order in hand, so it starts off for the next
Is
season.
that what we got on hand about now?
No, we will have when we get the last delivery here in a
He's
few
supposed to
months.
get, yeah, what, 150 more ton coming in?
Come August, yeah.
So,
So it's a lot of salt.
Chris?
So we'd have to get a building big enough to accommodate the largest order that we could possibly take.
Yes.
mhm.
Within reason, I mean, so Dave, obviously, I didn't mean to talk over Chris, but Dave has ordered this year, and we didn't use a lot this year, so now he's got,
Right,
can't rescind the order,
right,
he's already ordered it, so now we're gonna get it whether we want it or not, by August, so.
right. Our orders for 200 ton, the standard orders for 200 tons a year.
So is it your intent then to just get quotes now, but realizing this is not in this year's budget?
Yes, exactly. And again, and if we need, if push comes to shove and it becomes that big of the real priority, then we'd have to, for a budget amendment, then we would, again, that's for council to address.
Well, that's the issue, because this salt dome was brought up to me in passing, before the budget was approved. And I told the DPW supervisor then, he needed to get quotes or get some idea of the cost so that we could include it in the budget if we wanted it, this next coming winter. He never came back to me with any prices at all to talk about it. So we approved the budget, and one of the things that I learned in the class that I went to, that you guys let me
Great
go to,
class.
was that you create a budget and you work within the confines of it. You can't take every want that somebody has and turn that into an emergency, which creates an amended budget then. And for him, it wasn't important enough, and when we were talking about this, I just want to point out too, that it was the middle of the winter. So it wasn't like it was in the summer when you wouldn't have a salt hill on your mind. He never came back to talk about it. Then, you know, I just feel that it's important that you have to think ahead to the future. And you have to think about what you're gonna need in the next 3 years down the road and put those in at the appropriate time. You can't, a month after you approve the budget, say, oh, now we need to do this. So I just want to point out that we need to establish some priorities here for the way he orders things and does things. And to get a quote now at this time for something that we're not gonna build for a year, those prices aren't gonna be any good.
No, but the bigger issue, there's a bigger picture thing here than that, and the money part, that's the minor deal of it. The major deal is going to be, we haven't talked about, no, yeah, the cost of that's not the cost, it's gonna be the preparation is the cost. And as Ross put it too, is how we're gonna take an area that's unimproved, improve it enough to be able to handle heavy truck, turning and maneuvering, and then depositing the materials and that, and then cleaning out the site. I'm assuming we want the dirt hill removed by the 10-cent barn, would be the location, but that site is nowhere near prepped for it, so it's
Which
gonna.
stuff do we keep in that 10-cent barn? We got a lot of stuff in there.
Some different supplies,
Actually, I was in
We
there the other
did it
day,
out.
and that's all you got is a leaf vac and the
Correct.
compressor in
Yeah,
there.
because of things that got sold, will last a year to a couple of years, that's been cleaned out.
If it's over
So-
there, what's gonna stop anybody from just not taking it?
Your key.
Oh,
Key.
oh, okay.
yeah.
All right, I didn't know there was a gate over there, okay, okay,
So, anyway,
just a question.
well, that's fine, again, the idea, like I said, I tabled the discussion, let to know, hey, we wanna start planning, like anything else, it takes quite some time to get those things in. And like anything, I mean, it's at least 6 to 8 months before we get it, information, solid plan.
Probably be something you end up putting in the next year.
Yeah, that was my thought,
Okay.
absolutely.
Alright.
And in
Thanks,
fairness
everyone.
to everybody here, this is something a little new for Dave too. But, yeah, we do wanna try to get our stuff in at budget time. That's
Absolutely.
why,
And like I said, we haven't picked the style yet even.
you know, we spend all that
Site
time, and then you know, a month later, you're trying to change everything.
Right.
So you don't wanna make that motion?
There was no
then, you
motion,
just-
I mean,
okay.
I was just advising,
Perfect.
if I count based on following up from the last meeting, that, hey, we are gonna be doing and soliciting on what we think options are of it and cost, as well as, like I said, Dave, I wanna see what your thoughts are on the site, and if we need engineering activities over there, then we'll have to address that.
Make sure, if you're talking to them about this, just tell them it's something we're looking at, this is not a done deal at
Oh,
all
absolutely.
at this time.
The other thing
Okay.
he needs to remember is that
Moving on from the dome, oh, I'm
just,
sorry.
the other thing he needs to remember is that it comes out of the general fund, which
Yeah.
falls under you.
Chris and I talked about that tonight already, yeah, this is a general,
General
a
fund
fund item. We could probably move it under streets, but.
Not
I
if
don't-
streets isn't paying for it.
That's what I'm saying, the streets wants to pay for it.
Anyway.
But
Yeah.
I think moving on to laser engineering proposal.
Yes. So, we are now starting the fun part of redoing Lathrop from Fulton to Floral. We've got the engineering proposal and the overall steps in the process. Work to be done, the preliminary overall project estimates, it did look like our total cost did come down a bit, about 50,000, so that's interesting. And then now is you see on page 2, it says the cost of the engineering services, the timeline for the activities. From the award to start engineering, to the topographic surveys, to getting the plans and specs, advertising for the bids, and then we have the award and then the construction period, so.
Okay. You wanna make a motion?
Yes, Mr. President, make a motion to accept the proposal from Rowe Professional Services in the amount of $34,000, invoice to the village monthly until the successful contractor is selected, and to permit the street administrator to sign on behalf of the village.
Support.
So, just question, how soon will we have that all put together, you think? Cause it's already gonna get late for awarding and getting that road done this year, isn't it?
Oh, Yeah, we're gonna be right there in the early, we'll be right through the early part of fall.
October.
Yeah, we expect it to be, like last year, we'll be pushing October. So,
Just so we get it done this year, that's
Correct.
the main thing.
yep, which is also why too, the price tag I put when I run it, but it was higher because I assumed the fact that we would be in competition with the rush of other, and so the price tag goes up in the early part of the year. So trying to get us into the front of it before we're in the back end of it is in the mix too, so.
You got something more?
Just a quick note is, one of the reasons why he's able to do this is he knows he doesn't have any water or sewer lines on a section of it. On the other section, not quite sure about that. I think both the sewer and the water are in the green belt, so they're not under the road. So he can go ahead and do what he needs to do. He's not impacting us.
Exactly.
So that's an example of that kind of project.
Okay,
I have one question.
yes.
Number 4, on the scope of services. Coordinate and retain the services of a geotechnical engineering firm to obtain 4 soil borings at 5 feet deep each, and to obtain recommendations relative to the proposed paving cross-section. This work is necessary to know the depth of asphalt pavement and aggregate-based materials there are, so we can design the proposed street cross-section accordingly. We have asphalt and aggregate down 5 feet deep.
Well, they want to know too, what the soil is like underneath that,
So to go beyond.
be able to support.
Beyond it.
Okay, so the boring is going beyond
The boring is,
Right.
oh, yeah,
into the
All
soil,
right, yes,
okay.
right.
I'm glad.
No, okay, I see what you're saying.
Wow, I can't really read that
That
over and over.
That also has to be compared to the soil boring that we've already, that Rob did when we were looking for where all the water and sewer, and that was that anyways. So there's a good chance that that line there, we won't have to execute it because I'll have that already.
It's just for information.
But it is,
Yeah.
So will that paving start at Floral Street, across Floral Street, straight down the right of way, or
yep.
right at, where's it gonna start at?
So start from, I'll say go right from Fulton's intersection to through the intersection on, what's that, Floral?
Floral.
Yeah, I just want, just to answer your question, I read the same thing, David. There won't be work at the intersection though, it's just gonna be.
Yeah, finishing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
Motion by Sledge, second
Yep.
by Clark.
yep,
Yeah.
motion by Sludge, second by
Actually, in that
Cart,
case, there is a sewer in that right.
and you can,
Call roll.
And across it.
call roll.
Sledge,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Pelkey,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes,
Ballard,
Yes.
Adair.
okay, now we have to go, we got the minutes.
Yep.
We got a correction to our minutes. I think, we didn't show our, treasurer being absent that day,
I put her as here.
because she was in
I just
class.
want to
She was here in spirit, yeah. So we're just removing treasurer reporter from the list of who was here.
So, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
As amended.
Mr. President, I will move to approve the minutes of April 24th, 2023 council meeting as amended.
Support.
Motion by Ballard, supported by Shaw. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Motion's approved. Okay. Upcoming agenda items. Well, I'd like to put the first one on.
Okay.
Appointment of the new police commissioner.
I think that was gonna be on there.
Good chance it could be you.
Michelle, I'm hoping to bring back the final capital improvement plan update for council approval. The park board underneath the,
What are you calling it? Rob?
capital improvement
Improvement
plan
plan.
update. This is the update to the one we did about a year and a half ago.
Now, this is gonna give us tell us what, we already know what streets need to be redone, but it's gonna tell us which ones
Required water,
underground work?
sewer, what requires what.
It's a comprehensive look at all of the infrastructure, streets, storm sewers.
Now, are they gonna tell us anything about the condition of things? Like some of these streets, I still think we could pave over, maybe 10 years down the road, we might have some underground work, but I don't know that we can justify the whole cost.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons why we wanted to see what the estimated cost is.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I mean, that's certainly something council consider, we're gonna do this one, we're not gonna do that one, we think that one's really bad, but that's
Well,
not quite.
like Chris says, let's try to get at least a low hanging fruit going.
And it is broken down that we do know, we use the PASER scale, which is the system for the state, on how to recognize a road. Matter of fact, they did it and I walked every inch of our road.
This is a,
Compared the ratings to it, and we do have, so there is a priority in the sections ranking it, so if it's the lowest rate, on 1 to 10, that's the worst it can be, if you were 6, 7, 8 and above, those are the ones we weren't even necessarily targeting, and those are the bottom end of it, so.
How do they compare to Ed's,
What's that?
the piece of the scratch piece of paper that Ed wrote on?
No, that's what I
and
used too, that was how it started with, matter of fact, that is how it
I
started.
just wondered how
Yeah,
it
not bad.
compared.
Not
Yeah.
that, they got, well, because of the age of it, some of them got a little worse,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
sometimes,
Bless you. So, no, in principle was right, and, like I said, we had, a fair amount of, between the good, better, bad type of thing, or, better, good, and bad.
Yeah,
And instead of trying to really, on a scale from 1 to 10, you can nitpick
sure.
5 or 6 or 6 and 7, so.
So,
We
okay,
took it
we're
in 3
gonna,
chunks, so they're there for
on the
that
upcoming
purpose.
agenda item, we're gonna put that study on that
Yep.
Ross
The
said.
update, yeah,
Do we have any
It's
other,
tentative, but just because
you never know.
well,
they're
you
doing
can always
this
take
right.
it off if you don't have it.
Right.
Do we have any other agenda items
Do I
that
need
someone would like to
either
add?
that license or that to council?
And you will be, I think, yeah, the license would be,
Okay. We think, what, maybe June then?
if you want me here, it'd be the first meeting in June,
Yeah.
if that works for you, but.
Are you adding?
No.
No, I
not
just
yet.
wanted to check and see to make, that's why I said I wanted to tie it with Jeff, so to make sure if we could be ready for it.
I'm gonna have a resolution that, the Urban County Development, CDBG, we are required to pass, so that'll be.
No, do we have any council,
last item, I guess, we're upcoming,
no, we're not to that, we're, oh yeah,
Yeah, he
okay,
is.
go ahead, yes,
Sure.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
I just had an item, that's, if I get anything out of the further discussions on this SEMCOG presentation, I just wanna let you know where that's going and what it's about, so you have some more information, so. We won't get anything on it tomorrow, with SEMCOG, but, cause it's a separate thing. Put that on the agenda. I'll just give council a primer on that.
Just a reminder, if it's an agenda item, then we don't do it under administrative. We do it under the agenda.
That's right.
Okay, is there,
Citizens matter.
right, I know. We're good on the upcoming agenda items. Are there any citizen comments?
I think I've already spoken.
Are there any council comments?
Yeah, I wanna commend Chris for taking a look at the salt dome, he's looking ahead, right? We don't, my perspective, we don't always do a good job necessarily looking for village needs down the road. As Steve has indicated, there's building issues, there's equipment issues. We do wanna keep an eye on this whenever we do it, because I think we need it, so, salt dome.
Are there any future community events that we should be announcing here?
St. Baldrick's. is
St.
this
Baldrick's,
weekend.
Yeah.
13th or no?
May 13th,
Yeah.
4 to 6.
It's that Saturday,
Yeah, Saturday, yeah.
Graduation is May 24th.
May 24th, of graduation, I'll be there.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I just wanted to thank the council for letting me attend that week-long class. It was very informative. I was a little sick during it, but I have a big thick binder they gave me with lots of information that I can read at home at night, so I thank you for letting me go.
Well,
It
we're
is
really
good.
happy you went,
Yeah.
and thank you for going and taking your time. So, okay, community events we covered. We have have no closed session, so if I could have a motion,
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Time is 8:01, I move to adjourn.
Support.
motion by Ballard, supported by Belkey, to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Whoa, nobody's ever opposed to adjourn.
I would like, I wish
I'm
somebody
doing it
would
next time.
once just say,